Already been dissing Eurovision songs with her.
I have not. I haven't dissed anything.
Well, ballads anyway.
Yes.
We both don't like ballads, which is good. So we've got something in common.
Yeah, there's the odd ballad I like. I almost moved myself to tears singing Against All Odds in the car last week.
This is Keren from Bananarama. Thank you for coming in to see us today.
I know, I said I can't believe I haven't actually been here before when I've lived down here now for about 16 years, 17 years, I think. So
Picked a lovely day for a visit as well.
it's been a lovely couple of weeks.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
Why did you move down here in the first place? It was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 16, 17. I think it might be 94 we moved down. Well, I'm a Bristol girl, so most of my holidays were in Cornwall. We had the odd one in Devon and South Wales, but Cornwall was where we came on holiday. And I always thought I'd like to live here, really. And we started coming for weekends, and I had a young son at the time, and he used to get really depressed going back to London. And I just thought, why not move here and just go there when I need to, instead of... So I sort of reversed it.
We've got some questions for you on our Facebook group here, and one of those was, at what point did you think, I don't want to do the London thing anymore and move away? Was that obviously when you moved down here, I take it?
Yeah, it was almost an overnight thing. And we talked about having a holiday home here, but I very much wanted to live here permanently, and it was just, right, let's do it. One day I woke up and thought, that's it, I've had enough now. And funny enough, I have a much better social life in here than I had in London. For some reason, it seems so much easier to just pop to the local or go out and meet people without having to make appointments with people, and also not have to fuss so much about what you're going to wear. A bit more relaxed down here.
Yes, sorry about the shorts today. It is nice weather.
It's fine, it fits. That's what I've been in all week. Well, not exactly that outfit, but similar.
Okay. And of course, down here you don't have to do 20 stops on the tube to get anywhere, and all sorts of nonsense like that.
I know, and when people sort of say, where's your, I sort of say, well, my favourite Indian restaurant's about 25 miles from the house. They think, how far? I say, yeah, but it's quicker to drive there from, than to do a couple of miles in London because of the traffic. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased to say that Keren has said that we can play any Bananarama single, well, almost any Bananarama single we like this morning. So I'm going to play some of your older stuff, but you're still doing that anyway, aren't you?
We are doing a lot of retro shows and 80s things throughout the summer, mostly with lots of other acts, which is fantastic fun. And great for the crowd as well, because it's just a load of hits over hours, and we all share a band, and just get up and do it. So, yes, we've got a lot of people warming the crowd up by the time we get on, so it's great.
Have people changed that are on the circuit now from 20 years ago? Well, 30 years ago, I suppose.
No, I mean, we did one last weekend with Kim Wilde, Rick Astley, us. Who else was on? Curiosity. Really good fun. I mean, we see them sort of. For the last few years, we've done that quite a bit, so we sort of all bump into each other, have a couple of drinks and a chat. I don't think we've changed that much, to be honest. I don't think we ever really had a sort of massive diva-ish attitude, which is just as well.
Do you think? I think Pete Waterman might think a little bit differently to that.
Yeah,
I remember a quote from him. He said you were very stroppy.
He said we were the most difficult act
he'd
worked with, but I took that as flattery. The only reason he said that was not through diva behaviour, because we were always just in the local pub with them. The fact he said that was the fact we actually wanted to take part in writing our own music and make it personal to us. So we didn't just want to be given a song that he would then say, oh, if you don't like it, I'll give it to someone else. That we'd already worked with Johnny and Swain and written with them, and we weren't about to hand over the reins to them, no matter how good they were.
Well, that's actually essentially what they did, wasn't it? The hit factory, so to speak. There was the three of them, wasn't there? Stock Aitken and Waterman wrote all the stuff, and then they would get Kylie Minogue or Rick Astley just to sing the vocals on the top.
Yes.
And you girls didn't want that, did you?
No, we didn't. But when we first went to them, I think they'd only had one or two hits. They'd had Dead or Alive, You Spin Me Round, and I think they'd had a big hit with Divine. But I don't think they'd had any other hits when we first went to them. And we went to them with the idea of doing Venus. And they said, don't be ridiculous, that won't work as a...
I can't believe you still do the routine.
I know. Well, people wouldn't forgive us if we didn't.
No, I guess not. But do you wear the leather, the PVC?
No, I can't say I do. I occasionally pop the odd sequin number on, but not the
Your
PVC.
clothes have changed a lot. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. You scared, this message here from Luana on Twitter. You scared Karen with your shorts, poor lass. Any chance of Venus or Robert De Niro's waiting? We've done Venus, we'll do Robert De Niro a little bit later. Well, let's talk about the early days while we're on to clothes and things. Oh, you'd pull in the face. You don't like the early days clothes?
Some of them leave a little to be desired.
Is it true you used to make them?
Yes. In fact, yes, we used to go and buy fabric down at this market called Leather Lane, which was near where we lived in London, and run up various sort of dresses and we knitted tops while we were in the studio.
No.
Well, it was very do-it-yourself days. It wasn't like these days where you have an army of stylists putting you in incredibly glamorous frocks and you get given loads of stuff to wear. But I think that was part of our charm at the time. And it also showed people that, girls out there, that you kind of didn't need loads of money. It wasn't all about the glamour. It never has been.
Did you have people bring in glamorous clothes to you, like stylists to wear, and you used to shun them?
There were moments where we were doing shoots for magazines where they'd bring clothes in and we'd just say, well, that's not what we wear. It was a bit like the music side of it. We were always very adamant we did what we wanted to do and what suited us. And, you can look back in retrospect and think, if I'd have listened to that man or that man, I could have probably made loads more money. And, we turned down huge amounts of money for doing adverts and things, but we just didn't do that. Stupidly. Really stupidly.
Yeah, but that wasn't you, though. That wasn't Bananarama, was it?
It wasn't. I mean, really, if you look at pop music now, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it because it's very polished, very slick, and, you see all the girls. It seems to be so much about sort of skimpy clothes and looking beautiful. And I just think in some way maybe we were slightly better role models because it was just thrown together. It wasn't about sort of short dresses and high heels, and it's a bit more teenage and a bit more about sort of growing up naturally.
I remember a great quote from you. You said,
Uh-oh.
No, it was a good one. You said, I can't understand why people would have our pictures on their walls because we used to look like tomboys.
Yes. It's amazing. You'll get sort of some gorgeous man at a show come up and say, I used to be so in love with you and have your picture on my wall. And I think, why? I look like a bloke in most of them. Great big chunky shoes, dungarees, stupidly bird's nesty back comb hair. And, but I suppose it was attractive in its own way.
Yeah. It was of the time, though, wasn't it?
It was very of its time.
I don't know if you get away with it now.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't.
I don't
get
mean
away
you.
with
I mean a
no,
group,
but I think the attitude as well is that we had would be quite difficult now because I do think that we were probably more like a boy band, or not a boy band, an indie band. Because pop is I think a bit more manipulated these days.
Well, even from when you were.
When we very first started, the first person who wanted to manage us wanted us to sort of go underground for a year and learn our trade, and we just said, no chance, mate. We want to do it now, So, I mean, we just did it all under our own steam, really.
You got to look at the Stock Aitken and Waterman era. That was pretty manufactured, wasn't it?
It was, and I know that because we worked with them a lot, people, will mention us all in the same breath, but we were very different from most of the acts on Stock Aitken Waterman, and which is apparent because we actually had a career before we went to Stock Aitken Waterman.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play my all-time favourite Bananarama song. Right, you ready?
Yeah.
It's from Deep Sea Skiving.
Oh, how sweet!
Shy Boy. I love this
so
track.
Lovely.
So your memories of that?
It's very sweet. It's just such a sweet song, and we've just started doing it in the set again after not doing it for years and years. And it just makes me want to go, oh, so sweet.
It is a nice song.
We were
I love
only
it.
sort of 19, so
Where are you at that time?
19, 20.
Because Deep Sea Skiving was that the first album?
Yes, it was. What a strange old album that was. I said we were very naive, just learning what we were doing, really. And we became successful quite quickly because of the Funboy 3 picking up on us after seeing... listening to our demo, our Swahili demo,
which I have here.
I know you do.
Here we are. Can you pronounce the title for me?
Aye Amwana.
Thank you. So yeah, well, this actually, if you listen to it now, you think, I can see why the Funboy 3 would have kind of liked this, because it was very much them as well, I thought.
Yes. And working with them was fantastic, because having only ever recorded this one song in the studio, they gave us a drum each. I played piano with Terry on the tracks we did with them, and it was fantastic because it gave us confidence to sort of go in the studio and try stuff out, which we wouldn't have had, I think, with anyone else.
Why would a band record a debut single in Swahili?
Oh, I don't know. As I said to you earlier, we've never made plans about what we're going to do in the studio. We just go and see what happens. It was a dance track, a sort of club track by a group called Black Blood, that Siobhan actually had the 12-inch in her record collection. And when we lived in Denmark Street, which was the Sex Pistols rehearsal room, after the Pistols, we used to do several covers. This one, Really Saying Something, Venus, and Nana Hey Hey for some reason, and we got round to recording them all at some point. But they were the 4 tracks we could do. I think we even played our own instruments at that time, so you can imagine the shambles it sounded.
Oh, I'd like to get my hands on one of those early demos.
Yeah, I bet you would.
So it took you a while to record Venus then, didn't it? To put it on an album.
Yeah, it did. That was
if you were doing
86,
it that early.
I think that was, and we started sort of 81. So yeah, we got round to it.
Eventually.
We only used to ever really do one cover an album. That was the sort of general rule.
Okay.
Because otherwise the record company would just only put out the cover versions, because they somehow thought that would be easier, and we didn't like that.
I take it you don't do this live anymore, do you?
No.
Okay, stay with us. We're going to talk some more in a minute, and you can have another coffee, which I told you, Karen. I'm getting confused with Karen and Karen here, but Karen out there makes the best coffee here.
Lovely coffee. It's the best BBC coffee I've ever had.
I think she's smiling now. Thanks for that. She's going to be happy now. We're going to talk more to Keren Woodward in the next part of the show. Bananarama, Cruel Summer. I'm playing that for Surfing Sue, who said it's one of her favourites. And she would like to say thank you to Karen for all us tomboys who also had you on our walls.
Oh, lovely.
Sue grew up. She was copying your fashion.
As long as she never wore the hats.
Can I just say that we were talking earlier on about clothing, and you make your own clothes, and you turned all the glam stuff down. I think you've gone full circle now. Not quite full circle, but you're very glamorous now, if you don't mind me saying. Yeah,
well, I think when you get to a certain age, that sort of tomboy look just makes you look really old and ropey. So you have to make a bit more of an effort. I guess it's growing up as well from being, we were very, very naive girly when we started. I mean, I'm shocked, now at how mature girls of even 14, 15 are. More mature than I was at 25, I think.
Do you think so?
In lots of ways, yeah. I mean, it was a very naive time. We all had sort of childhood that I think some people don't have now. But we sort of started wearing more glamorous clothes, I suppose, still was the late 80s, and all through the lean years we looked our best, and no one wanted to come and see us.
when
in the 90s.
The 90s, right.
Yeah, so it all went a bit northern baggy indie stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that because there'd been so much pop, there was a bit of a backlash, and we couldn't get the time of day in the 90s.
I think there was a backlash against Stock Aitken and Waterman, and all the manufactured pop. And
yes,
you were
I think
obviously
so.
lumped into that, weren't you? That was the trouble.
Yeah. I mean, it was just all pop, I think. But yeah, it seems to have come out the other side. In the 80s, it just seemed to, the last few years, after not doing the sort of retro shows, and we'd always gone and done loads of stuff abroad in the Far East and even in the States, and we'd had a huge gay following. So oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so clumsy, clattering my cup around. But yeah, we sort of just did shows mostly abroad through the 90s, which is a bit sad, really. And we actually had an album in the mid-90s that did quite well, and it wasn't even released here. So it's a bit...
Really?
Yeah, which was a bit of a shame in some ways. It's quite a good album. And we looked really good.
Let's talk about your world tour.
Yes, the world tour. We only did the one in 1989, but we did hit Cornwall on our world tour, the old Coliseum in St Austell. Which is great.
Yeah, we were talking about people who remember going to see bands at the Coliseum a few weeks ago, and some of the acts that came down, all the big acts used to come to the Coliseum.
Yeah, I mean, we had it was full on. We used Prince's stage set and lighting designer, so it was a full on show that had to be sort of made bigger or smaller according to where we were playing. But it was an amazing tour. I mean, you go into sort of fantasy world, and I can completely understand how groups who tour constantly can completely lose touch with reality. Actually, Cornwall was the only place we all had a fight as well.
What happened?
In Foy, we were staying in Foy. I don't know, we walked into a local pub, and some people took offence, possibly due to the fact we were wearing Minnie Mouse ears and the boys were all in goofy hats. Probably thought we were a bunch of weirdos looking for trouble. We were just being very silly, really.
And you ended up scrapping with the locals?
Well, I didn't personally. I just made a run for it. But fights were had, yes. It wasn't funny, actually.
So were you bad girls on tour, or were you well behaved?
I don't really know what you mean by bad girls, really. You mean, did we party? Yes. Yeah. I mean, for me, even now, there's no point in doing it if you're not going to have fun. Up to a point, I can't. I'd prefer not to do a show with a hangover these days because they take me so much longer to get over. But no, we partied our way around the world. I think that's rock and roll. I think there are too many sensible artists around these days.
Did you have your baby at that point, though?
I had Tom, right at the end of '86. So
you'd have been 3 at that point.
Very unwell all the way around America when I was pregnant with Tom, and but he came on parts of the tour. He came out to Japan, and he would come out to various places, which wasn't ideal, really. I don't think it's a great place to lug a child around, really, because you're working and it's tiring, and they're just hanging around waiting to see you. Although it was quite sweet having him down the front, clapping and cheering me on at 2 years old or 3 years old, or however old he was. Yeah, very sweet.
What does he feel about your music these days?
He comes to quite a few shows with his friends. They think it's hilarious. They say that sometimes it's a bit wrong, that I'm sort of cozying up to my current favourite dancer who's 21. Which is one of the perks of the job for me, but I think they don't think it's quite right.
Do his mates say to him, "Your mum's fit"?
I think that he's had to deal with that on occasion, certainly. I mean, I hear people shouting in the background. When Tom's grown up with it, he's been, I think there was a point, maybe as a sort of younger teenager, where he was quite embarrassed. But these days, I can't embarrass him. It's shocking. I have to pick on his mates because I cannot embarrass him any more than I already have.
He's immune to it now.
He's absolutely immune.
I've seen, you mentioned your dancers there. I've seen the videos there's lots of videos on YouTube of you pinching your dancers' backsides and all sorts of shenanigans going on stage.
Slapping them, you mean?
Slapping them. Where are you slapping them? Right, okay. Yes, I've seen all of that. And there's an interesting, on our Facebook group, there's a couple of people left a message, said we should watch the video of you performing at the Isle of Wight. And you did Run to You. Yes.
Yeah, we did. Well, we did a few covers originally for the album we had out before Christmas, which was supposed to be a covers sort of disco-y album, but ended up being quite sort of poppy, electro-y, and we ended up writing a load of songs, so we had to stick those on. But there were a few covers that went out as album tracks or bonus tracks, and Run to You was one of them, which was quite a blinder to do live. And
Yeah.
the one we're introducing at the moment for the summer shows, because it fits in with the period, is The Runner by the 3 Degrees, which is another cover we did, which is a belter, and I love it.
That's
and it
on
means
your
I
album,
can put
isn't
that in instead of I Want You Back.
Okay.
Yes.
Why do you hate that song?
Why wouldn't you? I mean, it's a crowd pleaser when we do it. The crowds love it. It's dreadful to sing. I mean, we must have been so young in those days and so high-pitched. Maybe if we just drop it down a few keys. It exhausts me. It absolutely exhausts me. Makes me feel like a really old woman when I finish that, when I'm panting and gasping for water.
So you genuinely, if you never had to sing that song ever again, it wouldn't bother you at all?
No, absolutely not. It's the first one we cut at any given opportunity. You know, when the shows are running late and then you get the call from the tour manager,
Yeah.
anyone want to drop a song? We will, please, me sir.
Does Sarah feel the same though?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to play your version of The Runner. This is from Viva, the new album, isn't
Yes,
it? Okay.
yeah.
So that's Bananarama's version of The Runner, which you haven't done live yet,
No.
but you are about to.
Yes, about to be incorporated into the shows.
Who picks what covers you do? Is that you and Sarah? Do you decide that
Kind
together?
of, yeah. Normally it's when we're sort of on our travels, something will come on the radio and think, oh, we should do that one. You know, it's that simple. And some we've tried and have failed dismally. We tried to do Killer Queen.
Did you?
Well, would never attempt another Queen, so I love Queen. And I just thought the lyrics would suit us, it would be perfect. And it just sounded awful.
Do you listen to pop music when you're at home?
We're very big fans of the kitchen disco. Have lots of sort of party dance pop stuff on the iPods, and yes, the last one we had, we ended up doing the washing up to a bit of a rock disco. But it was quite 80s rock, you know, sort of Bon Jovi and Def
with the
Leppard.
big hair.
It was tip top, that was. And it always ends on Queen. That's kind of the rule of the
Does it?
house.
Right.
Every party ends with a Queen
Well,
track.
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you hear, because obviously you listen to my show all the time, I realise that
Yes.
when you're down. When I play a Bananarama song, do you switch the radio off or switch it up?
I would never switch it off. I like, you know...
Depends what song it is, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, in the old days, I'd probably switch it off. I think, oh, for God's sake, like I haven't heard that enough. But nowadays, no, I'd quite happily sing along. I've been at people's parties and performed my songs for no money at all, just for the fun of it.
The current album Viva, which we play the runner from, and
Yeah.
the single Love Don't Live Here,
Yeah.
that's not going to be the last, is it? You're going to do another one, I take it, after
Well,
that.
I don't know. The general rule recently has been to sort of stick an album out every 5 years so people know we're still alive, I think. Gives you an excuse to get on TV and do a bit of promo, and then sort of you get shows from the back of it. Because my main reason for doing it, apart from the fact I do like the sort of writing and recording, is because I like doing the live shows.
Yeah.
So as long as we can keep on doing it. So yeah, another 4 or 5 years
You've
back
got
in the
so-
studio.
And does that mean it's going to be 16 years and we'll get you back here for an interview?
Possibly.
Right.
No. I'm planning on popping in and saying hello at the Royal Cornwall show.
Yes, you
Yes.
are. Thursday. Good.
I'll be seeking you out.
Good. I'll look forward to that. I've got a couple of questions for you. If Eden called and said, would Bananarama play at the Eden sessions, would you do it?
I've never even thought about it. Yes, I can't remember. I did go to a show. I've only been to one show there, sadly, which I'm ashamed to say. And I can't even remember who it was, which is even worse. I am getting
You
old.
were drunk again, were you?
No. I think I might have been nominated driver that night, so
Oh,
sadly
okay.
not. But no, it's a great venue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you'd do that one, wouldn't you?
I think that's the sort of venue that would be perfect to go with sort of the shows that we're doing with everyone else. Bring along sort of the Rick Astley, Kim Wilde, Belinda,
Yes.
because that makes it an incredibly fun show, and we haven't done one down here, so...
Ian's dropped me a line. Were you at the Jane McDonald concert in London
Jane
with
McDonald,
the rest of
yes,
the girls?
I was! Now, that was a show that was different for me. She's fantastic. Yeah, we did Loose Women as she invited us to go, and we went, and it was a real giggle. proper sort of old standards
Yeah.
and a load of glitz and glamour. Now, there's a woman who makes an effort with her costumes.
She does, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember the old dance routines?
I still do them, apart from the bits that we've dropped because we've forgotten them. So, yes, half of them. We basically have young dancers, so we don't have to.
You do the Venus one, though, don't you?
We do the
Obviously.
Venus one, all of it. And we do various bits of other ones, if we can remember them. A lot of the early ones, we just didn't have routines. We started introducing routines just for our own amusement, really, making them up. It was a bit like making your own clothes. It was making up your own routine. So that's why it's all a bit do-it-yourself.
What song did you do a routine where there was 3 of you? So it must have been, I think Siobhan was still with you.
Yes.
And there's one where you got your hands behind you and then you're slapping each other on the hands going down the line. Do you know the one I mean?
It was Shy Boy.
Was it?
It was the first kind of routine, and we did it especially because we were doing Shy Boy on the Brits. Unfortunately, we wore sort of clothes more befitting a bus conductor than a pop group. I think.
Nana, hey, kiss him goodbye from Bananarama, and Keren is here. So listen, you're going to come into our marquee at the show, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Come and say hello.
Yes, I shall be seeking you out on the Thursday morning.
Yeah, before you've hit the beer
Before I hit
tent. Do you like heights? Are you scared of heights?
I hate heights. I am horribly scared of heights and flying, which is
Can I
unfortunate.
throw you a challenge then? At the Royal Cornwall show. We always go on the big wheel. Will you do it? I don't like heights either. But I
They
have
always
to
look so
force
rickety.
myself through it.
Roller coastery things that look really solid, but they always look a bit flimsy, those big wheels.
It's fine.
Okay, I'll do it just the once.
Will you?
Yeah. One spin on the big wheel.
One spin on the big wheel.
Well, a couple.
Yeah, yeah.
One ride on the big wheel.
You'll need a drink after that.
Yeah, I might have to do some before.
You're following in good footsteps. We had Michelle Collins on the big wheel with me last
I've met
year.
Michelle
She's
loads
lovely,
of times.
isn't
She's
she?
a lovely girl.
And Claire Sweeney the year before.
Not make Claire.
Oh, well, there you go.
I can't name drop that one.
It'll be you this year, all right?
Oh, lovely. Celebrity Big Wheel. Yes. I've made it now. I truly know I've made it.
It's a new TV show. So, look, the big question is, when are you going to gig down here?
Well, I don't know. Wait, where? Well,
we need you down here.
Well, maybe I'm just not popular in Cornwall.
The last time was 89. We need to get you down
actually.
here.
Yes, it was. I've done Devon, but not Cornwall, you see. That's very sad.
Why isn't
Very
that tour
sad.
coming down here?
I don't know. Maybe they don't really like that 80s stuff. I'm sure they would.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a word with the promoter
I think you
at
should.
the next one.
Think of all the great outdoor venues down in Cornwall.
Yeah,
that you
because
could
they're
play
really,
at.
really good fun. I mean, it'd be great to come down in the summer, and which is when they always are outdoors.
Yeah.
Everyone has a picnic and a drink, and it's really good fun. So I'm going to have a word with the promoter. It's long overdue.
So once the Royal Cornwall show's out the way, what are you up to for the rest of the summer?
I've got shows every weekend, and then I'm going to be back in lovely, sunny, hopefully Cornwall during the week, and that's as far as it goes plan-wise.
Because you missed it last year, didn't you?
I missed the Royal
busy
Cornwall show
working
last year. Yes,
weren't
but I
you?
had a tip-top time the year before, from what I can remember.
Oh,
It was marvellous.
one of those shows, was it?
It was excellent.
Do you enjoy going up there? Do you
Yes,
kind of embrace the rural lifestyle?
I absolutely embrace the rural lifestyle. Yeah, and it's as a sort of I was brought up sort of half in the country, half in the town. Really, my mum's family are all from the country in Somerset, so I'm not a horrible townie, by birth. Really,
Yeah.
no, I love it here.
Yeah, but you do. There are a lot of Cornish bands, as you're probably aware, that have to move to London because that's where you've got to go to make it, isn't it?
Well, yes, you do. I mean, unfortunately, even being from Bristol, you almost where even if you're from a city, you have to really be in London. That's where it's all based. Most of it, anyway.
But then
Sad.
you get yourself famous, and then you can move back to.
Yeah, then you can semi-retire
Exactly.
to the rural life in Cornwall.
Yeah, exactly. Are you still writing now?
Shockingly, I only tend to write when I have to. I really enjoy it, but you sort of think, oh, God, got an album, better write some songs. And that's sort of how it works. So I probably won't write many more songs until 5 years
5 years'
time.
time.
Yeah.
And then 10 years after that, you'll be in to promote it with us. Good.
Yes. Can't wait.
Look, it's been lovely to have you in on the show.
Thank you. It's been lovely to be
Thank
here.
you for coming in. It's been great to talk to you. Finally, after 16 years.
And I'll see you on the big wheel.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. By the way, we've got some pictures of Keren. We'll tweet those and Facebook those as well later on. I think Robert De Niro or really saying something.
Either or. I'm easy on that one.
Oh, don't make me decide. Come on.
Robert De Niro.
All right, okay. All right, here it comes. Lovely to speak to you.
And you.